You wake up. You reach for cereal, or toast, or maybe just coffee. You do this without thinking. It feels natural. It feels like the way humans have always started their day. But the real answer is far stranger. For most of human history, there was no such thing as breakfast. Not the meal, not the idea, not even the word. What you think of as the most important meal of the day is, in evolutionary terms, brand new. So what were your ancestors actually doing when they opened their eyes at dawn? Picture a small group of humans, 60,000 years ago, waking up on the open savanna. The sun rises. Nobody reaches for food. There is no food ready. There is no fridge, no fire still burning with last night's meal, no stockpile waiting on a shelf. There is only the empty stretch of morning, and the work required to change that. This is the part that surprises people. Hunger, in that moment, was not a problem to solve immediately. It was a starting gun. Anthropologist Frank Marlowe spent years living among the Hadza people of Tanzania, one of the last groups on Earth who still hunt and gather nearly all of their food. What he documented was not a morning routine of eating. It was a morning routine of leaving. Men would head out to track animals. Women would gather with digging sticks, searching for tubers, berries, baobab fruit. Nobody sat down to a first meal. The first meal, if it came at all, came hours later, and only if the morning's effort had paid off. Think about that for a second. An entire adult life built around uncertainty at every sunrise. Your ancestors did not know if today would bring food. They only knew that food would not come to them. This single fact shaped almost everything about how the human body evolved to handle hunger, energy, and time. Here is the part that reframes everything you thought you knew. Your body is not designed to expect food first thing in the morning. It is designed to survive without it. When you skip breakfast today, your body doesn't panic. It adapts. It shifts into a mode of using stored fat for fuel, conserving muscle, sharpening focus. This isn't a modern biohack. It's an ancient default setting, built over millions of years of mornings that started with nothing. Harvard biological anthropologist Richard Wrangham has spent decades studying what actually changed human eating patterns, and his research points to a single turning point: fire. Before cooking, food was harder to digest, lower in usable calories, and required constant, spread-out grazing throughout the day. Once early humans learned to cook, meals became denser, more efficient, and more concentrated in time. Cooking didn't just change what you ate, it changed when you ate and how often. But even after fire, there was no fixed morning meal. There was no clock telling anyone it was time to eat. There was only the sun, the terrain, and whatever the group could find or kill. So when did breakfast, as an actual meal, show up? Not as early as you'd think. For most of agricultural history, many cultures ate 1 or 2 meals a day, often centered around midday or evening, when the heaviest work was done and there was time to prepare and share food. Morning was for labor, not for sitting down to eat. In parts of medieval Europe, eating early in the day was sometimes even seen as a sign of gluttony, something reserved for laborers who needed the fuel, not something built into a daily ritual for everyone. The shift came later, tied to industrialization, factory schedules, fixed work hours, a need for predictable energy at a predictable time because the body could no longer set its own pace around foraging or farming. Breakfast, as a routine, was manufactured. It was built for a world of clocks, not a world of survival. This is where the twist gets stranger. The foods you associate with breakfast today are almost entirely modern inventions, layered on top of an ancient body that never asked for them. Cereal was invented in the late 1800s, originally marketed as a health food. Sugary cereal aimed at children didn't appear until the 20th century, driven largely by advertising, not biology. Your ancestors never craved a bowl of sweetened grain at sunrise. Your body was handed that craving. It didn't choose it. So what did early humans actually eat, when they did eat, in the first meal of the day? It depended entirely on where they lived. Coastal groups might eat shellfish, gathered at low tide before the sun rose too high. Groups near rivers might eat fish. Inland foragers ate whatever plants were in season, roots dug from the ground, insects when protein was scarce, and meat only when a hunt from the day before had succeeded. There was no single ancestral breakfast. There was only whatever the land offered that particular morning. Here's a detail that changes how you might see your own hunger. Researcher Herman Pontzer, who has spent years measuring the actual energy expenditure of the Hadza using doubly labeled water and metabolic tracking, found something unexpected. Despite walking for miles and working hard physically every day, their total daily energy expenditure wasn't dramatically higher than that of a sedentary person in an industrialized country. Their bodies had adapted to be efficient, not to burn endlessly. Which means the ancient human body wasn't built to demand constant fuel. It was built to be remarkably good at doing more with less. That single fact should make you pause. You live in a world of constant, immediate food access, and yet the body underneath your modern life is still tuned for scarcity. Why does this matter to you, sitting at your kitchen table this morning? Because the hunger you feel when you wake up is not a biological command. It's a habit, reinforced over generations of factory bells and school schedules and advertising campaigns that needed you to believe breakfast was essential. Your ancestors' bodies handled mornings with nothing in the stomach, just fine. Yours can too. That doesn't mean breakfast is bad. It means it was never mandatory in the way you were told. This is part of why intermittent fasting has become so popular in recent years. People aren't discovering something new, they're rediscovering something extremely old. Delaying the first meal, compressing the eating window, letting the body run on stored energy for a few extra hours. All of this mirrors exactly what a Hadza forager or a Paleolithic hunter experienced almost every single day. The body remembers, even if the culture forgot. There's something almost poetic about it. The modern wellness industry sells fasting as an innovation, but it's really just a return to the default setting your ancestors never had a choice about. Consider, too, what breakfast actually represented in that ancient world, on the rare mornings it happened at all. It wasn't a solitary bowl eaten while scrolling a phone. It was often shared, after a successful early hunt or gather, among a small group who depended entirely on each other to survive. Food in the morning wasn't routine. It was a small, uncertain victory, and it was almost always social. Compare that to now. You eat alone, in a hurry, often without thinking about where the food came from or what it cost anyone to gather it. The struggle has been removed so completely that the meal itself has lost its meaning. Isn't it strange that the easier food became to get, the less most people seem to actually enjoy the getting? Anthropologists studying modern foraging societies, including Marlowe's long-term work with the Hadza, have noted something else worth sitting with. Groups that still forage report high levels of day-to-day contentment, despite the constant uncertainty about food. Some researchers argue this isn't in spite of the uncertainty. It might be partly because of it. When food is never guaranteed, its arrival still carries weight. When food is always guaranteed, it can start to feel like nothing at all. So the next time you open your fridge without thinking, without any real effort, without any real risk of the day ending in hunger, you are experiencing something your ancestors would have found almost unimaginable. Not because the food is different, because the certainty is. Your body still carries the blueprint of those uncertain mornings. It still knows how to run on empty. It still knows how to wait. What it never developed was a need for a bowl of cereal at 7 a.m. That part was built by factories, marketers, and clocks, not by evolution. None of this means you need to change what you eat tomorrow morning, but it might change how you think about that first bite. It is not a biological requirement passed down from your ancestors. It is closer to an inherited habit, dressed up as an instinct. You wake up, you reach for cereal, or toast, or maybe just coffee. You do this without thinking, but now you know what your ancestors would have done in that exact same moment. They would have gotten up, gone out into the uncertain morning, and earned it.